Each year, scientists, researchers, and everyday people make incredible discoveries, helping us to better understand the world around us. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at interesting discoveries. The Fukushima plant is still leaking poison after a decade. It all started with an earthquake that hit around the Fukushima region. This lasted for about 3 to 6 minutes. The earthquake totally disrupted the infrastructure of the region, including electricity, gas, water, and railway. This earthquake was so severe that the region shifted on its axis, moving towards the east. In less than an hour, this triggered a tsunami, the first of many tsunamis in the country's northern shores. According to reports, the waves were as high as 90 to 100 feet in some areas, topping the protective seawalls and going as far as 6 miles to the town of Sendai. This quick succession of events left very little time for residents to evacuate the location. Villages were hit with water that was carrying tons of debris. During the emergency, each of the 3 operational nuclear reactors at the Fukushima plant shut down successfully, but the backup power and cooling system failed because the power transmission tower was toppled by the earthquake. The fuel rods partially melted down due to the residual heat caused by the lack of backup power. Following the loss of external electricity supply, the emergency backup diesel generators started successfully. But just less than an hour after the earthquake, the tsunami hit the plant with a wave that was up to 14 to 15 meters in height. Since the emergency backup generators were located underground, they were flooded with seawater. The electrical equipment, such as pumps and fuel tanks, were either washed away or damaged. As a result of this, the plant suffered a total loss of electrical power and experienced a station blackout. As people were being evacuated and as the nation lurched from the earthquake and the ensuing tsunami, the nuclear disaster extended over the course of the next few days. Reactor 1 and Reactor 3 exploded on the 12th and 14th of March, respectively, causing the government to evacuate everyone within a 20-kilometer radius. On the 15th of March, another explosion in the building where Reactor 2 was kept released even more radiation. The plant also suffered a number of chemical explosions which badly ruined the buildings. Radioactive materials began to leak into the atmosphere and the Pacific Ocean. Thousands of people had to leave their homes, while workers used water cannons and sea pumps to try and cool the overheating facility. The full effect of this incident became apparent over the following months, with the government eventually evacuating all residents within a 30-kilometer radius of the plant. In the end, a disaster that might have been worse was only escaped through the drowning of the reactors, by making use of the water sprayed on top of the buildings by fire trucks to prevent the nuclear cores from turning into unstoppable chain reactions. After 10 years, the injection of water continues. The ripple effects of this catastrophic event still continue after a decade, with several implications. More than 19,000 people were killed and over 465,000 were evacuated. The damages also cost the Japanese national economy hundreds of billions of dollars. It was estimated that the cleanup may take up to 2051. Around 150,000 people living close to the damaged reactors had to be evacuated due to the threat of radioactivity. This in itself definitely caused mental strains and evacuation-related deaths, according to reports. Still to this day, the planet is leaking radioactive material. The most recent announcement is that Japanese officials plan to release over 1 million tons of radioactive water into the ocean. Antarctic Lake is full of life. Antarctica is known for being a place where life does not flourish. Although creatures such as penguins, seals, and krill do inhabit the barren land, most of these species do not live there year-round and migrate elsewhere to escape the totally inhospitable and brutal winter. When researchers visit, the conditions are so extreme that they must take intense precautions to prevent hypothermia, or worse. The last thing that any of these researchers expected to find was an area actually teeming with life, but that is exactly what they stumbled upon. under an ice sheet about 3,500 feet thick, lies a lake about 50 feet deep and 54 miles square. Researchers interested in studying this lake used drills and hot water to break through the layer of ice and take 15 gallons of water samples and a sediment core over 15 feet long from the dark water below. What these samples revealed surprised the researchers. Study and analysis determined that the subglacial lake was positively teeming with bacterial life, and the samples taken contained an average of 10,000 bacterial cells per milliliter. Although this number may seem paltry in comparison to the 1 million bacterial cells per milliliter in samples taken from the ocean for a totally sunless underground lake, the numbers are astonishing. The fact that there is such a relative abundance of organic matter means that the lake could very likely be supporting other, more complex life forms, which the research expedition will begin to search for soon. A nearby subglacial lake also revealed abnormally high levels of bacteria during an expedition in 2013, which further validates these more recent findings and leads researchers to theorize that the lakes were at one point connected to the larger ocean thousands of years ago and thus have remnants of carbon deposits from early photosynthesizing organisms that allow the modern-day bacteria to survive. The discovery of such a surprising abundance of life forms is important to researchers for two reasons. The first is that it gives hope and guidance to the search for extraterrestrial life forms, especially on Mars, which has evidence of dried-up underground saltwater lakes, not unlike the one uncovered in the Antarctic. The second benefit of this discovery for researchers is that it provides important information about the history of Antarctica and what that now uninhabited place might have looked like thousands of years ago. Scientists who are studying these underground lakes believe that there could be over 400 such examples scattered throughout Antarctica, and rather than a gigantic ice sheet covering the Earth's surface, the barren land is actually more like a frozen wetland with rivers and lakes as big as some of the Amazonian bodies of water. Further analysis of these subglacial lakes will continue to shed more light on what might actually be a more complex ecosystem than anyone has yet realized. There is a binary star in the process of formation. About 460 light-years away, scientists have managed to spot a pair of young protostars in the process of forming a binary star. Situated in the Rho Ophiuchi cloud, the young stars are surrounded by a molecular cloud and are also close to the Rho Ophiuchi dark nebula. Although discovered in an active star-forming region, the infantile stars are heavily clouded by dust, and this is extremely obscured from our vision here on Earth. Generally, dark nebula regions like Rho Ophiuchi typically make for difficult case studies because they tend to have masses of interstellar dust which block visible transmittable light. Instead, infrared and radio imaging techniques are needed to detect dark nebulas, as only these waves can penetrate the light-blocking dust. Therefore, ALMA was a logical tool to use to further examine Rho Ophiuchi, as it operates as an interferometer, observing wavelengths of approximately 1 mm such as infrared and radio waves. Regardless of the challenges, scientists worked with ALMA to record the forming star's presence and have revealed that the binary system is called IRAS 162932422. Within this system, there is also actually a third star, as well as a wealth of insight into the building blocks and origins of life. IRAS 162932422 has been a scientific focus for some time, owing to the complex organic molecules and simple sugars which have been found within it. In this new study, scientists turned their focus away from exploring the fundamental materials that form solar systems and instead sought after information pertaining to the formation and kinematics of this emerging youthful system. The study was conducted after scientists noticed conflicting data from their IRAS 16932422 findings. As said, this system has been studied before, but because of low visibility, there were still many unknown aspects to it. When they noticed multiple compact sources of radiation, they discovered the two binary stars. Furthermore, their size seemed small, and when combined with other findings, scientists were able to conclude that the stars must still be growing. Despite the limited data and early stages of formation, scientists have since been able to map the star's orbits. They now hope to use this discovery to better understand the binary system's dynamic structure and complex morphology. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.